Once, Sudha Murty was at the London airport about to board a flight. Usually, she wears a sari even when she is abroad, but she prefers wearing a salwar kameez while traveling. So, there she was, a senior citizen dressed in typical Indian apparel at the terminal gate. The boarding announcement was made and Sudha Murty joined the queue. The woman in front of Sudha Murty was a well-groomed lady in an Indo-Western silk outfit, a Gucci handbag and high heels. Every single strand of her hair was in place and a friend stood next to her in an expensive silk sari, pearl necklace, matching earrings and delicate diamond bangles. Suddenly, the woman in front of Sudha Murty turned sideways and looked at her with what seemed like pity in her eyes. Extending her hand, she asked, "May I see your boarding pass, please?" Sudha Murty was about to hand over her boarding pass to the woman, but since she didn't seem like an airline employee, Sudha Murty asked, "Why?" The woman said confidently, "Well, this line is meant for business class travelers only. You should go and stand there," and pointed her finger towards the economy class queue. Sudha Murty was about to tell the woman that she had a business class ticket, but on second thoughts, she held back. Sudha Murty wanted to know why the woman had thought that she wasn't worthy of being in the business class. So she repeated, "Why should I stand there?" The woman sighed and explained, "There is a big difference in the price of an economy class and business class tickets. Business class tickets cost almost 3 times more than the economy class. And it also has some privileges. Like we can board flight from less crowded queue. We get better meals and seats. We have television screens and 4 washrooms for a small number of passengers and many more. And now that you know the difference, you can go to the economy line," insisted the woman. Sudha Murty was firm and said, "But I don't want to go there." The woman's friend interrupted and said to her, "It is difficult to argue with these cattle class people. Let the staff come and instruct her where to go. She is not going to listen to us." Sudha Murty did not get angry but decided to keep quiet. The line in front of Sudha Murty at the airport began moving forward. The 2 women ahead were whispering among themselves, "Now she will be sent to the other line. She refused to listen to us." When it was Sudha Murty's turn to show her boarding pass to the attendant, she saw that the 2 women had stopped and were waiting a short distance away to see what would happen. The attendant took Sudha Murty's boarding pass and said brightly, "Welcome back." She checked the pass, smiled and moved to the next traveler. Sudha Murty walked a few steps ahead of the women, intending to let this go, but then she changed her mind and came back and said, "Please tell me, what made you think that I couldn't afford a business class ticket? Even if I didn't have one, was it really your business to tell me where I should stand? Did I ask for your help?" The women stared at Sudha Murty in silence. Sudha Murty could not stop herself from giving them a peace of mind. She continued, "You refer to the term cattle class. Class does not mean possession of a huge amount of money. There are plenty of wrong ways to earn money in this world. You may be rich enough to buy comfort and luxuries, but the same money doesn't define class or give you the ability to purchase it. Mother Teresa was a classy woman. So is Manjul Bhargav, a great mathematician of Indian origin, the concept that you automatically gain class by acquiring money is outdated. Sudha Murty left without waiting for a reply. Approximately 8 hours later, when Sudha Murty reached Bangalore, she rushed to office to attend multiple meetings of the day. When she had to go in for the last meeting of the day, she received an emergency call. She told to her program director, "Go ahead with the meeting. I will join you soon." When Sudha Murty entered the conference room after 15 minutes, she saw the same women from the airport in the middle of a presentation. To her surprise, they were simply dressed. One was wearing a simple khadi sari while the other wore an unglamorous salwar kameez. When they saw Sudha Murty, there was an awkward pause that lasted only for few seconds, and the woman continued the presentation as if nothing had happened and said, "My coffee estate is in this village. All the estate workers' children go to a government school nearby. Many are sharp and intelligent, but the school has no facilities. The building doesn't even have a roof or clean drinking water. There are no benches, toilets or library. You can see the children in the school, but no teachers. We request the foundation to be generous and provide the school with proper facilities so that the poor kids can enjoy the essentials of a school." "How many children are there in the school?" asked Sudha Murty. "Around 250, said the woman. "How many of them are the children of estate workers?" questioned Sudha Murty. "All of them. My father got the school sanctioned when he was the MLA," the woman said proudly. Sudha Murty responded strongly and said, "Our foundation helps only those who don't have any godfathers or godmothers. We help the children of the daily wage workers or homeless people. The estate workers help your business prosper, and in return you can afford to help them. In fact, it is your duty to do so. Helping them also helps you in the long run. It is the foundation's internal policy to work for the projects where all the benefits go directly and solely to the underprivileged ones. Maybe this concept is beyond the understanding of the cattle class." Both the women looked at each other, unsure of how to respond. Sudha Murty looked at her program director and said, "Hey, I want to tell you a story." The program director was feeling awkward. A story in the middle of a serious meeting? But Sudha Murty began. "George Bernard Shaw was a great thinker of his times. One day, British Club arranged a dinner party in his honor. The rules of the club mandated that the men wear a suit and tie. But Bernard Shaw walked into the club in his usual casual attire. The doorman said to him very politely, "Sorry, sir, I can't allow you to enter premises. You are not following the dress code." Bernard Shaw tried to convince the doorman, but he wouldn't budge. Shaw went back home, changed his attire, and entered the club. When the room was full, Shaw stood up to address the audience, but he first removed his coat and tie and placed it on a chair and said, "I'm not going to talk today." He narrated the incident that happened with the doorman and continued, "I was allowed to enter the club only when I wore a coat and tie. My mind is not affected by the clothes I wear. My clothes were given more importance than my brain. So let the coat and tie speak today instead of me. And he walked out of the room. The women were dumbstruck, and there was an awkward silence in the room. Sudha Murty stood up and said, "The meeting is over." They exchanged cursory goodbyes, and Sudha Murty walked back to her room. So friends, this story tells us that class should be defined by a person's good thinking, good speech and good actions, and not by the clothes they wear. The women in this story thought themselves as higher class, but they were not helping their workers' children by themselves. They judged Sudha Murty for her simple dressing, but ended up asking her help. What a double-class people! Dear friends, sometimes stories do get lengthy, but it's important to maintain that length so that we can maintain the essence of the story. I hope you understand this, and I also hope that you have enjoyed this story. I will come up with a new story next Friday. Till then, you please take care. Jai Hind!